You may recall at one stage my workshop was fitted with a single panel wooden fold-up garage door. One I more recently replaced with a, I guess you can call it more space efficient, roll-up garage door. As a result, I ended up with a handful of weathered thin planks that really can't be used for much. But because I'm not generally a fan of just throwing things away, I figured I'd keep these planks up on my lumber rack until one day I think of a use for it. Well, that day has come and I think I can make something quite nice with it. Before I can make anything with these planks, however, I need to get it squared up and stripped. I also need to remove or cut off any damaged or broken parts. Then now, even thinner planks can be used to make a visually appealing herringbone or chevron type pattern that can technically be applied to any flat surface to make things like a decorative wall or a door or a headboard or even a table. I'm going to go with the chevron option, which is actually something I haven't done before, but I'm pretty sure that one of the more important aspects is making sure that the first plank is absolutely right. From there, the following planks really should just slot in place. For the chevron pattern, I divided my backboard into 4 quarters and I set up a temporary guide system to help keep everything straight. I'm leaving 4 triangles open along the center of each edge that I'm later going to fill with epoxy resin, just to add a bit of flair, I guess. Now, I'm not normally a fan of epoxy, that's why you will almost never see me using it, but in this project I think it might add a nice touch. After all the planks were glued in place, I squared up the backboard using my circular saw. I'm also going to cut slots connecting the 4 triangles for the resin to flow through, almost like rivers connecting oceans and splitting the land. Like with so many things in life, with epoxy, preparation is key. On one of my older videos, I can remember somebody once commenting and asking, why do I have so many spirit levels? Well, here is an example. To contain the epoxy or keep the epoxy to the triangles and slots, I'm building a reservoir using tape and silicone. The silicone is actually to make the reservoir and the tape is so that after everything is cured and dried, I can simply pull the tape off to remove the silicone. But if I level this thing out correctly, the epoxy will flow to the lowest point and I might not even need the silicone. It has been a very cold week in Cape Town. Not the best weather for epoxy, so I'm heating it up for better mixing and flowing. I didn't want the epoxy to distract from the actual product, but rather in a way accent it. So I went for a matching color or something more natural instead of going for something flashy or bright. Before I get to everybody's favorite part of woodworking, which is the sanding stage, I need to flatten the epoxy. Now I could build a router sled to do this, but that will be a lot of work and I don't really want to. Considering the wooden section of this project is already relatively flat, I figured I'd print an attachment for my trim router to turn it into, well, I guess a surface planer. The idea was a bit ambitious, but it actually worked well. Now for the sanding, I am starting with an 80 grit and I'm slowly moving my way up to 2000. And that is pretty much it for the sanding stage. Now, a lot of people at this point would probably go over to a polishing stage, considering the fact that we're working with epoxy, but I'm not going to do that. I might seem a bit lazy, but the reality is I don't like a high gloss finish. That's also why I'm not going to coat the sanded product with a thin layer of clear epoxy. I want the epoxy to seem more like an inlay in the real wood, instead of the entire thing looking like one big block of plastic. At this stage, I'm a little bit on the fence as to what to do with this project or what's the next step. I think it'll make a really nice large coffee table, but I'm in a bit of a rush because I need to get started on a new shop project that I've been planning. So for now, I'm just going to put a frame around it and use it as a headboard. I can always later revisit it if I want to make a table. So if you ever find yourself with a pile of very thin planks, not necessarily salvaged like I did in this video, then here's an idea of what to do with it. A herringbone or chevron type pattern that can be used to make a decorative wall, a headboard, a door, a coffee table, or even a dining room table. Is this one a work of art? Well, probably not, but considering it used to be an old beat up, busy rotting garage door, I would say this is a win. The real inspiration behind this project was decluttering my workshop or getting an early jump on some spring cleaning. Designing a project to use some of the material that has been sitting in this workshop for months, maybe even years. You know, without any real intended use. Even the epoxy has probably been in this workshop for a year. And that's pretty much it. I decluttered the workshop a bit and I made a fun project. Now I want to get right back into it. I've got a shop upgrade or shop project that I'm very excited to get started with, so that will likely be my next video. On a little bit of a side note, many people have been asking about plans for my mitre planer bench that I'm busy building, and I will post plans. As soon as the project's finished, I will post complete plans to the project and I will announce it here on my channel. And that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time. Cheers.